I only freaked out twice in my life. I was only intimidated by CL.
Well,
when I grew up to her, she had an aura about her, and I was like, nice. I was trying to be so cool.
If a K label reaches out to you and they're like, do you want to be an ambassador for us? Good or bad thing?
That's an interesting question, actually. Back then, I was like, like, I support this. I can't react to that.
Have you ran into any YouTubers that you know who you're like immediately like, this guy is a clout chaser?
I give everybody a chance. And I've gotten backstabbed before. It taught me a lot, especially in the KCON green room.
All right, everybody, welcome back to Fandom Culture. This is a podcast for fans of fans, and everybody in between. My name is Brooke Morrison, and of course, you can find me on YouTube, Brooke Morrison, Instagram at I am Brooke Morrison, Twitter, On Air Brooke, all of that. And I am the host of this show. And we are on episode number 5. So welcome back to the show. It's been a couple weeks since we took a little break because I'm one of those quote unquote creators who doesn't like to burn out. So I take breaks when I do things. But I want to introduce somebody that I'm sure if you're into K-pop, you know exactly who this is.
Maybe.
Dre, say hello.
Hello, my name is Dre, JRE, Just Random Every Day. Whatever you want to call me, that K-pop dude.
Right.
One of the OGs, I guess. Now I've been getting called that. Hi.
Yeah,
I've been doing this for a while. So I've seen a lot of things and know a lot of things.
Right.
Will we talk about it? I don't know. It's up to her.
I think we will. I think we will. When did you start? When did this all happen?
2011.
2011. 11 years ago.
Yeah. It's been
11
almost
years
basically
ago.
A decade plus 1 year.
Who was the first group you reacted to?
Actually, it was BAP.
Okay.
Warrior.
Wow.
And that's when I clickbaited my videos saying sexy half Asian male reacts to. And everybody's like, where's the sexy Asian male? I'm like, oh, okay. But
did you really?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
You can literally search it up.
I can search that. Okay.
Yeah.
So you're also not one of those reactors who has like deleted a lot of their past stuff. So if you want to go back to 2011, you can see.
There's actually I have deleted a few.
Okay.
But it was JRE KML. There was KML. That was my cousin. She got a great job. And she said, oh, can we delete that? Just like for my job's sake. Right. And there's nothing wrong with them, but just like in general. So yeah. I have deleted, but for me, no.
You are an OG, by the way. 2011 is
it's a
long time ago.
Long time ago.
Especially, for K-pop.
Exactly.
For K-pop, did you get into K-pop before that, or was it like?
I definitely knew about K-pop here and there. I was trying to find, because I'm half Asian, I'm half Filipino, so I was trying to find my Asian self. Like I knew, and I'm half Jamaican, which I don't think anyone could figure out sometimes. So obviously, musically, Jamaica, Bob Marley.
Right.
Filipino, not sure yet. Now it's like we got Bruno Mars and like a lot of other people, but back then I was like, who do I look up towards? So
yeah. Oh wow.
Yeah. So that's how I kind of bumped into K-pop through the internet.
Okay. So speaking of burning out, if you've been through this much, and you've started in 2011, have you hit that point yet? Of
many
burnout?
Times.
Yeah.
I think maybe end of 2017 to 2018, I burnt out.
Really?
Yeah.
And what did you? How did that go?
I don't know. I just started like not liking it. Editing, actually, I hated editing reactions. After a while, it's simple, but after time after time after time, and I love editing. Yeah, I got tired of it, and sometimes that's why I tried different type of stuff, and it worked out. I did go on tour with like DPR, etc., and I loved editing that. Yeah, and I still do love doing that. And then 2018, 2019, kind of, and I started getting my spunk back on 2020, end of 2019, 2020. Okay, I did take breaks.
You took breaks.
I took breaks, but I'm not known to take too long of a breaks. I get itchy to post, and that's also like, I guess, looked at as a negative thing for me, because I don't know when to rest. Not for me negatively, but from outside perspective, like my parents, or my significant other, or like friends, or even my manager. They're like, you need to rest, or you're just gonna get. And I would get I would go hard and then get sick for like 2 weeks.
Yeah, no, because it really does affect your physical health, and people don't understand.
People don't understand.
You get so worn down, even if you are. People say you're just sitting and like recording yourself or something like that, but it's hours of editing, And if it's not just a reaction, if it's something like an interview or if it's something
or
like a
any
vlog,
little skit or like anything. I did a lot of other things, but obviously people knew me for my reactions.
Yeah.
Some of my skits popped off too, and people know me for that too. But yeah, I got burnt out. There was one point where I've told this story before, not like on a podcast, I guess, or maybe on my podcast or my past. Yeah. But personally, like, there was one point where I did 1 month. You try to keep up with K-pop. Yeah. Imagine today. Today is crazy. Back then it was still crazy.
Yeah.
But I try to keep up with it. So I would for 1 month, I remember I was like working on editing on like so many reactions and other videos every day, just 2 hours of sleep each day.
Yeah.
And then I did a convention, drank some coffee. My whole left side of my body was numb.
Stroke?
No, I thought so because my dad went through a stroke that time too. Now it's another story. But
wow.
And I was speaking, and my cousin KML was with me. I was speaking words. I was like, "Yo, am I okay?" It was just lack of sleep, and my nerves just overworked. They gave up.
That's yeah.
So that was a scary moment. Yeah. And then I realized sleep is important.
Sleep is very important.
People say sleep is for the weak. I'm like, nah, you'll get weak if you don't get sleep, bro.
Ooh, we were talking a little bit about this before we started recording, which were like just shock jocks in radio and everything. And a lot of them still like to talk about the whole like I'll sleep when I'm dead thing. And they try to emulate the Ryan Seacrest of the world. Right. And he, very famously just like doesn't stop. So
no, it's crazy.
With that kind of stuff, I think a lot of young people who are even starting like YouTube or something kind of misunderstand that you're allowed to take breaks.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, like you can be shadow banned on YouTube. People unsubscribe and unfollow and everything. Have you ever been worried about being unsubscribed?
No. In the beginning, no. From 2011 to 2016, I didn't care. Yeah. I was just posting. Right. Like it was a hobby. I didn't even earn money, to be honest. Oh yeah. So I just did it just to do it. And I just got addicted to editing and posting it and then receiving like the comments and everything. And yeah, but even though I still think to this day I should have rested, that 1 month blew my channel up from just pushing. Yeah. But in the end, I wish I did it a lot. I could have stopped at some points where I could get at least 5 hours of sleep or 6. That makes a difference.
Right, it does.
And that's why I do today, at least 6 to 5 or 7 hours at least, if I'm on the grind.
Yeah. So that month, was it just like posting every day or something? Really?
Or
I still have never done that.
Like sometimes 3 times a day.
3 times a day?
Because I was good. I was easy. I knew how to edit super fast.
Yeah, because reactions, it does get to a point where you like intro, video,
it's simple.
Done. It is very simple compared to other things that you do. And especially people who make a full-time living who are like YouTubers and vlog. Yeah. That is a different level of editing.
That is a very different level. And I respect those actually.
Oh my God. I think about it.
I know people that do. I was like, you're still editing? I was like, every day you edit, film. Like, I respect it.
What has been your favorite thing about reacting, or like the best thing that's happened to you? You've interviewed groups, you've done like, you've traveled. Like, what's the best thing that's happened?
Literally all documented, to be honest.
It is.
But meeting new people like you, like getting to interview people as well, getting to go on tour with some groups and just filming, and just like the little thing, not even little things. It's like, to me, like I had this whole conversations like, oh, like you met so-and-so, and I'm like, yeah, they're cool. It's like, but the way you react to it is like, other people will be like, oh my God, but you're just so chill. I'm like, because you're kind of used to it now. I'm like, it's like, I guess so. But I'm still like, oh, that's crazy. But I learned how to not freak out each time. I only freaked out twice in my life. And it was just twice.
Who?
I was only intimidated by CL. Well, when I grew up to her, she had an aura about her. And I was like, nice. I was trying to be so cool. I hate the fact that I was like, nice to meet you. Like, I'm like, hey, nice to meet you. I'm Dre. Like that. Yeah. And then another person is G-Dragon. I got to meet G-Dragon.
G-Dragon. I think a lot of people would feel that way about G-Dragon.
But not even only that, it's just like, there were so many other big heads in that room backstage that I was like, what am I doing here?
Which state? Where?
It was in New Jersey. It was the Nets Center. The Brooklyn Nets, I guess. Okay. And there were just like top tier models and just fashion designers there.
What show was it? It was his like a headlining show.
It was his show.
Okay,
it was his.
Got it.
Sorry.
I was like, what group? What? Like,
no. G-Dragon by himself. He was doing a solo tour.
I just read your shirt, peanut and a half. But okay, so I want to ask you kind of a hard hitting question.
Yeah, go ahead.
So there's been a lot of conversation about I guess, the ambassador-ness of some YouTube reactors.
Ooh.
And them being ambassadors for a certain label.
Yeah.
Do you think that's a good thing or a bad thing?
That's an interesting question, actually. Did not expect that. An ambassador, like, let's say, for me, people say YG.
Right. If a K label reaches out to you and they're like, do you want to be an ambassador for us? Good or bad thing?
I thought about this, too. Actually, look, back then I was like, oh, that'll be dope. And then maybe I'll get paid or something like that.
Right.
But it depends. I think if you really wholeheartedly love that label, go ahead, do it. Personally, over the time when I looked at the industry and the business aspect when I was in Korea, don't really care about labels anymore or companies.
Oh.
I used to be like very YG this, YG, and there's nothing wrong with YG, but I realized like I'm just going to support the artist.
Right.
And then just be me. That's me 2016 to on.
Right.
Back then, I was like, like I support this. I can't react to that. That's the very beginning. I was very big bang 21, And after a while, 2013, I realized how dumb it was. I was like, I like music. I don't only listen to K-pop. Yeah. Why am I limiting myself to this and this? I could just enjoy this, this, and this. And I got to say a big shout out to Shiny for kind of like maybe opening my mind to like, yes, I don't need to just listen to just YG stuff. Let me go to Shiny, SNSD, this. And then I literally just opened my mind throughout the years to music, which makes sense. I don't know why that, I don't know. Maybe that mind state when I first got into K-pop, that was what I wanted. But then over time, I'm like, that's not me. I like listening to different types of music.
Right.
If I didn't listen to different types of music, I wouldn't get into K-pop. So let's not like, play around. Just like, let's listen to everything. That's why it became like a multi-stan, as people say it.
Yeah.
And some people hate that.
Yeah, some people do. Okay, so what I've been seeing on Twitter about this specifically too is the complaint will come from Blinks or Army or something like that, who feel as if like a certain reactor built their channel on reacting to BTS or Blackpink.
Right.
And then decide to be an ambassador for a label that's not HYBE or YG.
Yeah.
So do you feel the same frustration, or do you think that's warranted?
I never even thought about this, to be honest.
It's been like a recent thing,
Oh, that has?
Yeah,
I didn't even know that. Like, I'm like, I feel like I'm so OG that I'm doing me.
Right. You're
At this point. But I could see that point too, especially when you like built a whole career off of like this group and that group, and then all of a sudden you're now focused on that group. Then you're like, yo, what happened?
Right.
I can see that from a K-pop fan perspective too. But I feel like as K-pop fans, it's because it's like, oh, we made you kind of ish.
Yeah, right.
I see that.
Yeah. Like if like maybe the first like 3 years of your channel, the majority of your videos were about BTS. Yeah. And then now all of a sudden you're like, I'm an SM ambassador. Like, is that kind of,
I feel like I've done that too.
Yeah.
But
that's why I want to ask you about this, because you know.
But I don't even think about it like that. Yeah. It's like, because I remember I did this, but I remember SM like say, oh, if you like, you could put a link for SM for them to buy like merch, and then we'll give you a percentage or something like that.
Yeah. Oh,
and,
yeah.
And then I was like, okay, cool. But I didn't think of it like that. But I could see that point of view as well as a fan. I was like, what happened? It's like, you weren't all SM this, that, blah, blah, but now you're like this. But it's also called growing. It's also called broadening your horizons. But I also see the fact where K-pop fans would be salty about that too. So I feel that. Actually, I'll be like, wait, yo, what happened? I grew up watching, just reacting to this. What happened to this?
Yeah. Because then it feels like you might, like the person that you went to kind of share in that. I think that fandom is now just have flipped, or like is just coming from a different place that you're not. You know what I mean? It's I understand that, because when I saw it on Twitter, like the conversation being had.
Interesting.
I guess there are a few. I don't know exactly which YouTubers it is. Okay. I have no idea, but I did see kind of like that sentiment whereas, your channel was built from, this group. And then all of a sudden, why are you calling yourself a blah, blah, blah ambassador? And like, what does that even mean? Are you being paid? Blah, blah, blah. So I was like, maybe Dre knows like what's happening with this kind of stuff. I don't know.
I mean,
I've never heard about
I get it, but yes, they built it off that group. But as long as they go back and pay the respects to what that group did for them, I think it's okay. They can be like an ambassador of this group, because let them broaden their horizons. Yes, people will still be salty, but I mean, it's an opportunity. I mean, yes, that person could say yes to it or no to it, and it'll show their true colors, I guess.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I mean, I guess people grow. I mean, but I also see your point of view too.
Yeah.
Not gonna lie. Because even me, I was all YG, and then I started going to like BAP and then this, that. But I was early. See, that's the thing. I started with like so many other groups too. I'm literally looking at all my videos I've done.
I can feel
all 2,000 of my videos I'm going through. I'm like, no, I started with so many.
Yeah.
I was literally looking like a multi-stand, but then I stick to like Big Bang because like, oh, I really like their sound. And I guess I grew up with that in 21. And then of course I would just like do other things. But yeah, even back then when I was just straight up like just 21 and Big Bang, I would still be interested in like Girls' Generation, but people would leave hate for me for doing that.
For Girls' Generation?
Like for me reacting to it sometimes.
Oh, wow, okay.
And he's like, oh, he's not a real fan, he's just doing it. I'm like, no, I'm actually kind of doing it because I'm known for that.
That's what I was saying earlier, though, before we even started. I was like, I feel like you've been through the trenches of this. Like,
yeah, but I guess it's trenches, but I just never paid attention to it.
Yeah.
I was just like, and also like, I'm always on the grind. I'm like just putting out content, you know, and people still enjoyed it. So I'm not mad at it. What
is the best year of K-pop so far for you?
Let me think. 2015, 2016-ish?
Okay.
2017.
All right.
And now it's coming back to me at 2019, 2020, and so on.
Okay.
And now I'm trying to find like the newer groups too that I'm liking the sound of. Okay. There's some new groups I really like the sound of. I was like, okay.
Drop some names.
There's a new group that just came out called Tan. And they came out with a song called Do. I think it's 4 Do's, but
4 Do's, yes.
It has a very like second gen sound too, and I love that about them. I haven't posted my reaction yet, but anyways, but sometime soon. Of course, Stray Kids. I was a casual fan when they first started, and then when God's Menu came in, I was like, oh, I like this sound a lot.
Yes.
And then I like that whole album. I was like, okay, I'm a fan.
Right. Yeah.
I don't know if I'm a stan, but stan, I feel like that's another topic of what that word means.
Right.
But
and honestly, and this is what this podcast is for, the term stan to me is not a 4-letter word. I don't see a problem with it the way that a lot of people do. And I think that a lot of people immediately going towards the Eminem stan like thing is just so far removed from what it is now.
It has no meaning. It doesn't have that meaning anymore.
No.
It just means like you really, 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 really like that group and you watch everything about them.
Right.
Which is like a digital stalker.
Listen, if there's content, we watch the content.
I'm a fan of other groups too, but it just in all laughs. But yeah, it lost its meaning. I had this exact conversation on Twitch. I was like, what do you think about the word stan?
Yeah.
Because obviously it has a word like it means stalker fan.
Yeah,
but it's not crazy.
There are just different intentions behind it now, I think, than there used to be. But also, like, we have words like sasang, like which have actual, like you're an actual stalker, and that's like what you are. Yeah. So I mean, like, I
there's a difference. There's different levels.
So I also want to talk about the word clout.
Okay.
A lot of people think that K-pop reactors. There's a fine line between having a successful channel and using certain groups for clout. And being a clout chaser.
That's interesting. Because in the very beginning, nobody cared.
Yeah.
But at a certain point, when the Reactor like K-pop sphere just got bigger and bigger, then people are just like, oh, you're just doing it for the clout, so you can promote this and this and this.
Right.
I mean, yes and no. Like people do it for clout too, so they can just base it off some other stuff, and some people just enjoy it. Or just a little bit of both. I feel like anyone that puts himself in YouTube or puts himself out there is there for a little bit of clout, for sure. And if they see success, they're gonna be like, okay, this works. So I think everybody is in for a little bit of clout, and I don't think it's that bad, to be honest, because this is the world we live in now. Since the word clout has been formed. So yeah, I mean. It is what I say is just it is what it is. I was like, we just have to just be who you are. If I mean, K-pop fans can tell.
Yeah,
they can tell when like someone's like bullshitting.
Yeah. Like, have you ran into any YouTubers that who you're like immediately like, this guy is a clout chaser?
I give everybody a chance, and I've gotten backstabbed before.
Oh God, okay.
In LA, and that's why I had like a little thing with LA. I was like, all right, but it also taught me a lot.
Okay,
it taught me a lot, especially in the KCON green room. There's little clicks here and there. I was like, but me, I'm just floating like a butterfly to everybody because I'm like, that's Dre.
Wow.
So I had that blessing of that. Like I could go anywhere to any clique, whether it be the makeup gurus, the dancers. I have my way into everything, I guess, just because I just say, I don't know. I've always been told to just say hi to everyone.
Right.
Because of my parents, whether it be a party, I don't even know them. Like, oh, nice to meet you. I'm so and so.
Right.
And that's basically like networking in green room too. Just like saying hi, even if it means nothing. So
wait, the problem was you were saying hi to everybody in the green room?
No.
And people felt a certain kind of way, or like?
Oh, for me, no, they just loved me. Oh. But I'm just saying, like, there's some people that are for clout, and I have dealt with them before. In the past, I deal with my like those I guess fake people in a different way. But in the past I would just straight out like, it's like, nah, you're not it. Or if they like hurt one of my friends or like badmouth anyone, they just don't have a YouTube career anymore.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
And this is the past.
Wow.
It is what it is. It's like, I don't get it. I don't get why the hate. I don't know. Some people, I would help people and they would just like shit talk me behind my back, and that's okay. It's whatever. But when I find out, I'm like, okay. And I just stay silent. I stay silent. I work in the background.
Yeah, you know what's strange is like I, just moved back here as well. And before when I was living here, I didn't know anything about the YouTube community.
Right.
But obviously it's a huge deal.
It's huge.
And all YouTubers, especially if you're in like the same kind of system or like whatever you guys are doing, you probably know each other or know somebody who knows somebody or what.
Yeah,
whatever.
It's pretty small sometimes too.
Very small. And
especially
then
this niche.
The same thing with reactors. And I didn't know that until I moved back, and it was way after I had actually started my own kind of like reactor thing. Right. And coming back to LA and realizing there's an entire new world of people that is kind of cliquey, that like all know each other and kind of, they have their own connections. They don't want to like introduce you to them. And so I was like, okay, this is like radio. Like I was like, this isn't
every industry is usually the same.
Yeah, I was like, wow.
I learned this quickly too.
I was just kind of shocked that it existed in this space.
It's everywhere. It really is. Even in like the TikTok community or anywhere.
Oh,
because
yeah. Okay.
I've dealt with that too.
I was gonna say, I feel like you have a story.
The reason why I came here was I was part of a content creator house. That didn't work out.
I think you told me that.
Yeah, I was part of it, and I lived next to the Hype House, and then there's 21 Savage, and then so I met all the most egotistical people I've met. I'm like, really? Like, they didn't even want to call me name. Like, I would introduce myself and then say what I do. And he's like, all right, K-pop. They called me K-pop in the house. I'm like, So I was like, all right. And then I just dealt with so many personalities. And yeah, it wasn't the best, but I'm here now. And I'm doing all right now.